The XFL is ready to launch its new brand of smash mouth football. Will it fly like creator Vince McMahon's pro wrestling empire? 300 pounds! Or crash like the league's blimp?
I think the only question is, will people watch minor league football on network television?
These football players alone will not be entertaining enough. So Vince McMahon is going to have to do his magic for it to work.
The WWF casts a very long shadow. The benefits of that far outweigh the negatives.
The X could stand for sex. The league promises cheerleaders will be introduced with the players and get plenty of face time.
Why not? Why not? It's not going to take away from the game. It's only going to add to the experience.
Do you think this league could survive without the cheerleaders?
Yeah.
And there won't be any fancy broadcast booths in the XFL either. The league says the play-by-play announcers and analysts will sit right in the stands with the fans no matter what the weather. Even if it's raining or snowing, the only protection they'll have is a hood or a hat.
Announcing teams will include Minnesota Governor and former pro wrestler Jesse Ventura.
I'm proud I was a wrestler.
And former linebacker Brian Bosworth. XFL President Basil DeVito says watching games on TV will never be the same again.
I think we have to deliver on our promise. Deliver on a promise of a good, quality brand of football, an exciting live event, and interesting and unique television delivered in a way that you have never seen it delivered before.
There are plenty of spring football failures like the USFL, but the XFL has a 3-network TV contract. It's ahead of ticket sales projections, and more than 70% of its commercial time has been sold to major advertisers, including Anheuser-Busch, AT&T, and Gatorade.
The XFL.
Sports Business Journal writer Andy Bernstein expects viewers will tune in for the first season, but the key is getting them hooked.
Do they have a legitimate fan base? Do they continue to drive TV ratings? Do they continue to get people in the door? Year one, there's a curiosity factor. Do people come back? That's the big question.
The XFL says, let the games begin.
Blackman's corner.
There may not be any backbreakers in the XFL, but Vince McMahon's new football league is changing the rules, hoping to turn a spectator sport into a spectacle. Will the flash and the flesh improve the game or disguise a weak product?
I think every rule change is a positive. I don't think there's... when I looked at the rule changes, I said, geez, what a great idea. And I'm not just saying that.
The almost automatic point-after-touchdown kick doesn't exist in the XFL. Extra points can only be scored on a run or pass, and if there's a turnover,
Intercepted.
the defense can run it back for a point of its own. There's no such thing as in the grasp, which means quarterbacks might take more hits. Defenders can bump receivers all the way down the field, and you only need 1 foot in bounds on a catch or interception.
The XFL is being promoted as a throwback to the days before the NFL added rules to cut down on injuries to quarterbacks and punt receivers, which explains one of the biggest differences between the two leagues. No fair catches allowed. The punt return man is supposed to get a 5-yard no-tackle halo until he catches the ball, and then he better move fast.
No fair catch will eliminate dead plays. It won't stimulate any more difficult plays for the players.
XFL President Basil DeVito says the new rules are already used in college or Canada or other pro leagues, claiming guys are no more at risk here than anywhere else.
It's a tough game. So we understand injuries are part of the game, but we don't anticipate any greater injury incidents than any other league.
Okay, easy, hey!
There will also be cameras on the field, possibly in helmets and shoulder pads, and as many as 20 players will wear microphones. But is the XFL worth hearing and seeing? The answer will be found on the field. Quarterback Charles Puleri is playing in his 5th, and some suggest most dangerous pro league. He'll be taking lots of hits in the XFL, but he says it's worth the risk for a shot at the big time.
You go to college, you grow up as a young boy, you want to play in the NFL, you want to play pro football. This league gives us another avenue to keep the dream going.
Dwayne Saab is back on the field for the first time in a year and a half. He played defensive end for the Patriots, Packers, Rams, and Bills before he got hurt.
I want to show my teammates, other guys on other teams, NFL scouts, whoever, that I'm still playing football at a high level, still get the quarterback.
Despite what you might think, the XFL is not filled with a bunch of bartenders and bricklayers and truck drivers living their fantasy. These guys grew up in the game, playing college ball and in most cases some level of pro ball. They might not be good enough or lucky enough to have NFL jobs right now, but just about every one of them will tell you that is the ultimate goal.
Calvin Jackson is another of the wannabes, could-have-beens, and once-weres behind an XFL face mask, spending 6 years with the Miami Dolphins.
It's definitely a second chance. It's a chance to continue playing football, keep myself in football shape, have an opportunity at the end of the year to go back to the NFL.
Then there's Damon Gourdine, son of Little Anthony from Little Anthony and the Imperials, who could be singing instead of receiving.
You certainly won't get bruised ribs like I got last night, I tell you that much. I mean, hitting high notes doesn't hurt.
5'7" and 165 pounds, Gourdine is one of the league's smallest players.
I'm not very intimidating. I'm certainly not a stereotypical receiver. You look at me, you just see somebody who doesn't belong on the football field. I probably should be bringing in the Gatorade.
Getting hurt is part of the game. The question is, will this game be worth watching? In Orlando, Florida, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.